Hello YouTube and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today we're playing Red Dead Online and I'm going to be doing my ultimate new player guide. I've been planning to do a video like this for a while for all the people that are hopefully starting to just play Red Dead Online these days, because it's a pretty dang good game and all it really needs is more community interaction. So it just needs more people to play it, and therefore the more people that play it, also the more support from Rockstar we're likely to get. So that is why hopefully this will be useful to a lot of you out there. So basically I'm just going to have 15 little tips here. Some of them are going to be like super good details. Some of them are just going to be things that I think a lot of new players need to be reminded of. But in summary, it should be pretty much everything you need to know to get started and have a good, effective character in Red Dead Online. So let's just get started off with number one. And of course, that number one thing that I really think you should do is subscribe to Dare to Game. That's this channel. I release Red Dead Online videos pretty much daily. A lot of them are going to be guides showing you helpful ways to do things, or some of them are going to be just little tips and tricks. Some of them are going to be opinion pieces. And then I also do quite a few outfit guides and show you how to dress up like specific people. I do all sorts of stuff for Red Dead Online. So definitely subscribe to the channel. That's step one. You gotta do it. Otherwise, all the rest of the steps don't mean much. So that is the first step. The second step is going to be create your character. And obviously that's something you have to do to play. But I think a lot of people just kind of skip it and they're like, I can tweak it later. But here's the thing. It's kind of expensive to do that later. So as you can see here, we have a price of 10 gold bars to change your appearance. I think when you start off the game, you get automatically given one free appearance change coupon, or maybe it's somewhere right near the beginning, but I had one for a real long time. Once you've set your appearance, it's pretty much set. I mean, you can change it, but not real early in the game, because you're never going to have the money or the gold that you're going to need to change your appearance. So take your time, make it look like how you want to make it look. Like, don't half-ass it or you'll regret it later. If you want to look like someone specific, like maybe someone from a movie or historic thing, look it up online. There's a chance that you might find some custom sliders for how to customize the look to make it look exactly like someone that you want to. So maybe you want to look like Kurt Russell from Tombstone or something like that. Look it up online. There's a decent chance you might find it. Take your time to create your character the way that you want it, or you'll probably regret it later. So that's step two. So step three is to complete the Land of Opportunities campaign. Immediately when you start the game, you're going to be introduced to this campaign. You're going to start it off by, that's how the campaign starts. You get rescued from prison, or I can't remember if it's from prison or from a prison wagon, like transporting you or something, because you were in jail for a crime you didn't commit, etc., etc. It's a story everyone's heard before. But that's going to start you off on the A Land of Opportunities campaign. And I know a lot of people complete that first mission, or maybe the first two, and then they never do any more of them. That is a terrible thing to do. So my recommendation is going to be to complete literally the entire campaign. And if you have friends that are going to be playing with you, that's obviously the easiest way to go. You just form a posse, and that way you can do any of them without having to try matchmaking, because you can just do it with your friends. But if not, a lot of them are going to immediately just go through with matchmaking, and you'll find people to play with. So it shouldn't be a big deal either way, but definitely complete the entire A Land of Opportunities campaign. For one thing, they're very fun. I definitely enjoy them a lot. For another thing, it's going to help you explore the world. It's going to show you a lot of the important stuff, where things are. It'll teach you quite a few systems in the game, and if you do them all, a lot of these missions are combat intensive, so it should help you get a little bit better at combat right away. So yeah, that's why my third tip is definitely complete the entire campaign. Don't just stop right after the first mission like a lot of people do. Now the fourth tip I have is find guns that you like and stick with them. So in Rockstar games, and Red Dead Redemption Online is no different, guns they get better as you use them. Now obviously they all have a cap, but they're going to reach their max potential if you use that gun a lot. So that's why it's not smart to constantly be switching between guns, whether that's just buying every single gun and using it until you get the next one, or whether it's just changing randomly because you like the way they look. The best way to get really good with certain weapons in a game, especially like this, like Red Dead 2, is to stick with one gun. You are going to get used to the way that it works. You're going to get used to the reload speed, you're going to get used to the fire rate, you're going to get used to the bloom shrink speed, but also your character in the game is going to get better at using it, so it's going to get more accurate, it's going to get better, well, the accuracy and the range are kind of what kind of goes together with that, but the range only goes up because the accuracy goes up. But basically, the more you use that gun, the better that gun is going to be for you, and the gun that you start off with is the Cattleman Revolver. And now a lot of people don't like the Cattleman Revolver. I still use it pretty frequently. I mean, my favorite are the navies. But the Cattleman revolver is a good gun. They're definitely a good enough gun. If you get used to using them and you get good with them, they're going to serve you super well, and you're not going to be spending a ton of money on other stuff constantly switching. So, like I said, find guns you like and stick with them. Number 5 is two-prong. It's going to start off with your horse. So definitely keep your horse clean and well fed. This is important for a lot of reasons. For one thing, it's how their cores get determined, so how long they can run and how much health they have. That comes from the cores. You're going to want to keep those cores full. So that's why you feed them and keep them clean. It also is going to affect how your horse reacts under adverse situations. Plus, it's going to help you bond faster with your horse. So it's important for a lot of reasons to keep your horse clean and well fed. Keep it clean. It's going to make your horse bond with you faster. It's going to make your horse react better when you get into a stressful situation, whether that's a gunfight or a wild animal. The cleaner and more well-fed your horse is and calmer, the less likely it is to buck you and bolt off immediately. Then, of course, with that, also keep your cores full. So as you can see, you have 3 cores, your health core, your energy core, and your deadeye core. Don't forget about those. A lot of people just pay attention to the rings on the outside because that's how much of that you actually have. But the core also affects it. So for health, the core gives you extra health, extra hit points. For the energy, it just helps your energy not deplete as fast and recharge faster. And for deadeye, it's basically the same thing as energy. You're going to want to keep those cores full. So if you see one getting low, eat something. And the way that you tell what it does is when you highlight over it, it'll show you, so this one fills up health and energy. Health and energy, a little bit more health and energy. That one's health and deadeye. So if you want to fill up your cores, you just eat something that is going to actually fill up those cores. So keep those nice and full. Number 6 is going to be picking your first role effectively. And now my opinion is the bounty hunter role is the first one you should get. And the reason for that is because the bounty hunter role is the one that helps you get gold. So you're going to need gold to get all of the roles. And bounty hunter is the only one out of all these roles that helps you get gold. That used to be just the rule. You had to do that one first if you wanted gold. But now there's actually something called blood money that was added to the game. And so the blood money update added a number of people that give you missions that you can do, and you actually are rewarded gold in similar quantities to the bounty hunter for doing them. They're basically just stranger missions. They're tiny little missions. They have short little objectives. You do them, and then you get cash, experience, and gold. And now they pay out a pretty similar to the standard bounty hunting bounties. So that's why if you don't want to be a bounty hunter, or maybe you don't have 25 gold to get the bounty hunter license, whatever the case may be, the blood money is now a good alternative. So if you don't want to be a bounty hunter, and you know that you want to do one of the other roles, then you can focus on blood money. But basically my advice here is just do either one of these to build up your gold, because you're going to need gold to get the other roles. And then just on top of that, my recommendation for the roles is if you either already have the bounty hunter one, so you have enough gold to get another one, or if you don't want to do bounty hunter, so you do blood money, but you've got the gold for another one. The next one I recommend doing is either the trader or the collector. And now the reason for that is that the collector one is by far the fastest way to make cash and level up in the game, because you get crazy XP rates and crazy cash gain rates with the collector if you're doing it actively. The trader one gives you a bunch of things that will improve your camp, makes life in the game easier. You get things like the stew pot, the weapon locker, things like that that are very, very useful to have at your camp. And you can also make a decent amount of money with trader. Now, the trader one is slightly more AFK. It's not entirely, because you have to fill up the materials and the supplies if you want the goods to keep getting supplied, but it's slightly more AFK. The collector, you have to actually physically go around and collect items. So if you're going to be spending a lot of time playing the game, the collector one is by far the fastest way to make money. If you're not going to be spending as much time actively playing the game, the trader role is probably the best role for making money. So one of those is what I suggest you get after the bounty hunter role, or after you've made enough gold with the blood money missions. Number 8 is going to be using your treasure maps. So if you go into your satchel and you go into documents and then you just go until you find treasure maps, there's a section where you're going to find all these treasure maps. These are going to be things that you're going to collect throughout the game. Sometimes I think you find them on people. A lot of times you just get them as rank rewards. Sometimes you get them as club rewards, like if you have a quick draw club or an outlaw pass or something like that. Don't ignore them, because they're very useful. Now you can see that I've kind of been ignoring them, but that's just because I do so much other stuff in the game that I sometimes forget about doing the treasure maps. So I've currently, I think, got 29 of them on me and a whole bunch still in my mailbox. So basically all of these, you click on them, they pop up a little ring on the map, you go to that ring and you look for the treasure. These give you at least $100, sometimes more, some amount of gold. It usually ranges between like 0.6 gold, and I've had as much as 1.5 gold bars come from a treasure map, although that's obviously less common. You can quickly make quite a bit of golden money if you pay attention and use your treasure maps. Tip number 9 is just a general money saving tip. I say loot houses and / barns and other buildings for supplies. Now the reason I say this early game is because the supplies in this game are something that you don't want to run out of. You always want to make sure you've got food for your horse, food for yourself, tonics, things like that. So basically what you're going to want to do is find places where you can loot that stuff for free instead of paying for it. It'll save you a lot of money early in the game when you don't have as much money. You're going to save a lot of money if you find ways to loot different supplies that you're going to need, because that way you're not going to constantly be spending cash to feed your horse. So definitely loot for that stuff. The next one is an extension of that. So tip number 10 is cook your own food / forage for plants. So the reason I say this one and I put this together and why it's so important, not just for new players, but for all players, I think a lot of people overlook this, is the best food in the game that you can eat is going to be the stuff that you cook. Because you can see, so look at that, thyme venison. It almost fills all 3 of your cores. They're going to give you just great core filling, but the best ones are going to be these big game ones. You do the herb seasoned big game, and they'll not only fill your cores all the way, but they'll give you a gold core in one of the areas. That's why you're going to want to be hunting animals, keeping their meat, and then cooking it with herbs. And the herbs that you're going to want to collect for that are creeping thyme, oregano, and wild mint. They're all over the map, so they're very, very easy to find. Then you can cook seasoned meat, and it is by far the best food in the game for keeping your cores nice and full. So definitely hunt and cook your own food. Don't rely on food that you buy from the store because it's expensive and it doesn't perform as well. Tip number 11 is keep your guns clean. So earlier you saw me cleaning my gun, and the reason I do that is because whenever they get dirty, I clean them. Now obviously that one wasn't very dirty, so maybe it wasn't worth an oil, but your guns are going to act and perform a lot better if you keep them clean. So you're going to want to make sure that you do that pretty frequently because they do get dirty very fast. One of the ways to help slow that down in certain guns, so like there's obviously lots and lots of guns, most of your long arm guns have an option to use a wrap, a leather wrap or a cloth wrap or something like that. It's not just a cosmetic item. It actually helps keep your gun clean so it doesn't get dirty as fast. So I definitely recommend utilizing those. A, they can look really nice, and B, like I said, they help your gun not get dirty quite as quick. So that's why I recommend using those and keeping your guns clean, because then they're going to perform a lot better, they're going to deal more damage, they're going to be more accurate. It's definitely a good habit to get into. Tip number 12, make friends in the game so you can have a posse, so you can do group activities. This game is a lot of fun to play by yourself, but it's infinitely more fun to play with friends. So if you have friends in real life that either like games like this and you could maybe get them to get it and play it with you, or if you've got ones that already play it, that's the most obvious choice for people to group up with, but you can also try making friends in the game. There's various communities. You can join my Discord server to try to meet other people that play the game, so you can maybe meet up with them in the game, and that way you can make posses, get friends in the game, so that way you can play together. A lot of the activities in the game are a lot more fun to do with friends. So tip number 13 is get a decent horse and saddle. And now the reason I am using this tip at all is basically just kind of to tell you what to spend your money on, because you're going to obviously have very limited money starting the game. And you don't want to waste it on cosmetic items or tons of clothing if you haven't filled your core needs. So the first one is obviously guns, because guns are obviously very important in this game. But then the next one is horses. And so I recommend getting a decent horse nice and early in the game, as early as you can, basically, and then getting your bonding with maximum and getting a good saddle on it. That way, you're going to face a lot less annoyance from horses acting stupid, constantly running out of stamina, and other problems. The one that I recommend, just because it's a great value and it's an excellent performing horse, one of the best in the game, is the Mustang. And the one that I like the best out of it is the buckskin Mustang, but the black Overo, I mean, that one's 20 gold, but the chestnut Tovero and the red dun Overo are also good options if you like how they look better. I just like how the buckskin looks the best out of those three. But these ones perform very, very well. When you reach max bonding with them, they've got pretty much full all the way health and stamina, and it's only $500. You unlock it really early. It's a very, very good horse. I'm not even saying it's just a good early game horse. It's one of the best horses in the game, but you can get it early. Then on with that one, the obvious next tip I have for you is making sure your horse has a good saddle, because in a lot of ways the saddle is going to matter more than the horse, especially for things like stamina and your core drain rates. The best saddles in the game are the Nakadoche saddles and the Upland saddle. These obviously are higher level saddles, so you're not going to have access to them right away, but they are the best, so when you can get them, I definitely recommend it. So as soon as you can, get yourself a Mustang or a different horse, but just make sure it's a good horse, and then get yourself the best saddle that you can. If you can't get the Nakadoche saddle or the Upland saddle, then just get whatever saddle is best and put the best stirrups on it. That's going to be your best bet for your horse and saddle combo. So this next tip is going to be one that's a little less orthodox, but I definitely recommend it, and it's going to be pick a home region and stick to that region. Now the reason I say this is because this map is decently big, it's very varied, there's things all over the place. I'm not saying don't explore the map. What I'm saying is pick yourself a home. home. So for me, my home is in the Heartlands, and I like to stay as close to Emerald Ranch as possible for a lot of reasons. And it's a centralized location. I just like it a lot. But the reason I recommend picking a home and pretty much always staying there or doing all your operations in that general vicinity is it helps you learn that region really well. So you learn where to look for specific animals or where to look for specific herbs, or, you know, what roads can you cut off of and go through the woods without having to risk running off a cliff, things like that. If you learn that area really well, it's going to help you with your efficiency, but it helps you kind of feel a little bit more like you actually have a place that is yours. So that's why I say pick a spot, live there, learn the area. And finally, for the last tip, this one is going to be real generalized, and it's try new things. A game like this is loaded with experiences. I hear people say there's nothing to do in it, or it's a boring game. That is not true. There is tons of stuff to do in this game. I've known people that picked it up and they played it for 40 or 50 hours and then never played it again because they just started doing one thing like hunting or free roam missions or just replaying the campaign over and over again or the multiplayer events, and then they eventually got bored of that and quit. That is just one out of dozens of possible things that you can do in this game. Limiting yourself by not trying to do new things or trying to learn new systems or maybe picking up another role and trying that will really, really limit the lifespan of a game like this. So that is my last tip. Try new things. Try to do everything in the game, or at least once, you know, so you'll learn if you like it or not, because it's a great game with a lot to enjoy. So that's the end of the video. If you liked it, definitely leave a like rating. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, maybe tips that you think I should have included and I didn't, leave those down in the comment section, because obviously it'll still be helpful to hear it from you. And lastly, if you like this content, definitely subscribe to the channel, A, because you help my channel grow, which, as I think we can all agree, is an objectively good thing, and it will help the world in unimaginably large ways, and B, because if you like this content, you're probably going to like the other content I make because it's pretty consistent, and that way you'll get to see it almost every day. So, with all that in mind, thanks for watching, and have a nice day, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you like this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.